What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Owie of House Owienitis, your host for episode 6, House of the Dragon spoiler talk. I've sent out the Ravens. Now I'm just awaiting the call of my bannerman. I'm waiting to see who shows up in the chat, what you guys think of the episode, all that good stuff. A lot of changes, man. A lot of changes. This feels like House of the Dragon season 1.5. Season 1.5. And I got a lot of I like the episode overall cuz some major events happened, but honestly, the tempo has changed, man. The tempo has changed with all the new actors and the huge 10-year time jump, which it was a 10-year time jump, but we'll get into spoilers. We'll see who else shows up in the chat. Like I said, the Ravens are out. My bannermen are out there. I'm waiting for the call. I'm waiting for the answer. Waiting for the answer in the chat. Let's take a look. Aaron Lordy, let's go. That's right. Spoiler talk. Aaron in the chat. Tyrone Magna. It was a good episode. Just got to get used to the new actors. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. It was a good episode. Just got to get used to the new actors. I mean, it's like as soon as it started to feel like classic Game of Thrones in episode 5, the whole wedding and all that, which that was my favorite episode. Like I said in my last spoiler discussion, that was my favorite episode. Episode 5 was my favorite. It felt the most like Game of Thrones. Each character arc was starting to gain so much momentum. Like Alicent, the actress was so good in that episode. The younger version, Rhaenyra, all these characters' arcs were just getting so interesting. And boom, that was the peak of that. And then we're on to episode 6, which, like I said, feels like a whole new season. It honestly feels like a whole new season. So we'll get into spoilers here soon. Of course, I got my steel, the BM, the Bastard Maker. Of course, I'm always equipped with my blade, as every good lord must be. But yeah, Game of Thrones episode 6. What other criticisms can I get? I like overall. I like the episode. The acting was good. The writing, it didn't hold your hand. Like there wasn't like a exposition scene like 10 years have passed in the land of Westeros and blah blah blah. No. We learned through character interactions. We learned through the choices they've made and how they've played out in this 10-year jump. Especially with Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra, a lot of choices that she made in the previous episodes and earlier in her life, she's paying the consequence now. She's paying the consequences for her actions when the game is about to be played by everybody. Like, they're adults now, and they're kids, which there's so many damn kids in this episode. I really only know 2 names, and that's Aegon Targaryen, Aegon Targaryen and Aemond. I forget what Rhaenyra's kids, what her names are. They're like, the newest born is Joffrey because of Laenor's lover that Kristen Cole beat the shit out of. So there's that. But yeah, I don't, there's just so many kids. There's so many kids, especially with Daemon too. And we'll get to Daemon in a little bit. Daemon, Daemon, man, Daemon had it good. Daemon had it good. So I like Daemon's arc. But yeah, so many changes in this 10-year time jump that I kind of wish the writers would have found a way to um I wish they would have found a way to keep the original younger actresses and just speed up time without having a 10-year time jump. Just okay, they had kids, or maybe even get rid of some of these kids. Because I mean, but honestly, the reason I think that there's this 10-year time jump is because a lot of the children from Alicent and Rhaenyra, they're major players in the Civil War, so they just want to get these kids older so we could get into the good stuff. Even though it's all been good so far, like I said, I'm having a good time with this episode. Tyrone Magna, Daemon had it good. Yeah, like I said, he had it good. Daemon probably had the best life out of all of them. Like, we'll just get into spoilers now, and we'll just jump into Daemon because he is my favorite character. Yeah, Daemon, for everything he's done since the beginning of House of the Dragons, he's kind of just traveling the world. He's over the politics of Westeros. He's just over the shit, and he married Lena. They had good chemistry. in the wedding. So they've fallen in love, and in the books, a lot of things happened for him to marry Lena. Like in the books, I remember he like challenged her lover to a duel and just whooped his ass and claimed her hand in marriage. A lot of stuff like that. But I was hoping we'd get more with Damon and the his ex dearly departed ex-wife, the Bronze Biatch, aka Rhea Rune, Rhea Royce of House Rune, or the Lady of Castle Runestone. I was hoping we'd get something with that, especially the way season 5 or episode 5 ended. So it's kind of like he just skipped the lands. Like I thought he was gonna be like I kind of know what happens in the books and in the lore and the history of things very vaguely. But I was wishing we'd see more of that. Like what happens with him in the Vale? Do they hold him accountable for the murder of Rhea Royce? But that shit has passed. 10 years passed. Damon's got a whole new life. He seems like a good man. He's married Lena. They're kind of just traveling the world across. In I think they're in Pentos. I think they're in Pentos. They're somewhere in Essos, and like one of the lords in that area want to use Damon and his dragons to fight another war. It's like we'll give you gold if we could use your dragons, and Damon's like, at least I know that I'm not being played. It's very straightforward. Hey, we need your dragons. We'll give you money. We'll give you whatever you want. Just come fight for us. There's no politics attached to it. And Damon's like, that's a breath of fresh air. I actually really like that. So he wants to settle down in Essos uh, and just make money and just live a carefree life. Even though Lena is kind of urging him, is like, hey, this is not what you were born to be. You're a Targaryen. You were made for greater things. Whether that implies going for the throne or just going back to Westeros, back into the realm and achieving great things, she knows Damon's capable of more. So I like their relationship. So I like that whole arc of Damon in lost in ambition, like so different from the beginning when we first were introduced to Damon. So I like that a lot. But we'll get back to Damon in a little bit. Go here to the browser. Boom. So let's go with the core players first, and we'll jump back to Damon. So I like the opening scene of this episode a lot. One problem though, I thought the new actress playing Rhaenyra, I thought she was good. I thought she did a really good job. There's just times where she just really doesn't look anything like a younger actress. I'm just like, I wish she looked a little bit more like her. But acting wise, she did good. And the way we're introduced to her when she's giving birth, and Queen Alicent, who's almost turning into Cersei. She's still sympathetic, but she's kind of turning into Cersei. As soon as Rhaenyra has her baby, she wants to see it, even though Rhaenyra's fresh off birth, and she's just not gonna let her baby go without her, baby Joffrey. But this whole scene, if you pay attention and watch it, it's a one take shot, and I'm a sucker for one take shots. Like there's no cuts from the moment she gives birth. It's just a single camera take, and you get to follow her. And through this one single take shot, you find out the history of what she's been going through with Laenor in the past 10 years. So I really liked her introduction to the series, this new Rhaenyra. Like that one take shot was really, really good. It was really good. And then you got Laenor here, who, yeah, Laenor, man, he's kind of just living he's just like living to do whatever he wants. Like, I kind of sympathize with him as well because he's so bored and he gets a chance when there's a more war going on in the Stepstones, like because Daemon and Corlys Velaryon kind of left it alone. Like they won the battle but didn't establish any bases or forts there, so it just got overrun by pirates again. When he hears of this, he kind of wants to go back into war, but that goes on later in the episode. But yeah, so many new characters in this episode were introduced, like the kids, Aegon Targaryen, who looks identical to Mike Wheeler. I forget what the actor's name, but he looks just like the actor who plays Mike Wheeler in Stranger Things. Everyone's been comparing him to it. It's so, I mean, that's Mike Wheeler in a bleach blonde wig, but it's not. It's not the same actor. But Aegon Targaryen, yeah, I liked. I thought he was gonna be a little shit like Joffrey, but when we meet him, he's just a normal teenager. Granted, when we do meet him, he's looking out into the city, doing imitating Homelander, kind of doing some indecent things in front of the whole city, which kind of shows you his mindset. He does not give a crap, because he's not the heir to the throne. In this, I mean, things are still in play for Rhaenyra to and her kin to inherit the throne. So yeah, I liked the character or his character. Like he just kind of wants to jerk off and look at girls. Like he's at that age. But Allison kind of there's a really good scene with Allison, like in a really desperate manner. She's like telling him, like, "Hey, you got to get your shit together," because well, I guess we'll just delve into the kids. But yeah, I like that scene where she's like, "You got to get your shit together because Rhaenyra, like you're the one challenge to the throne to Rhaenyra, so you can't just relax and do whatever you want. Sooner or later, you're gonna have to step up because you're the challenge to Rhaenyra." And he's like, "Well, then I just won't challenge her." Like he just does not care at this point. But Allison's like, "No, you got to because she will. What do you think she's gonna do? Like if she feels like her succession is challenged, and you're the number one person in the way. What do you think she's gonna do? She's gonna kill you, kill us. So you got to get your shit together, Aegon." I like that scene with Allison. Allison in general, like a lot of things have changed. Like the first 10, 20 minutes of the episode, you really get a hint of where Rhaenyra and Allison are at. Especially when Rhaenyra brings her baby to Allison, you get to learn a lot of things. Like she's really snarky, like to Laenor. She's like, maybe you'll get a kid that finally looks like you, because none of the kids are mixed race at all. They're all white kids with dark black hair because they all belong to this dude right here, Harwin Strong. Which I wish we had more of him. Like he's introduced in like you see him a lot, or just glimpses of him. He's kind of just hanging in the background in earlier episodes. He's of House Strong, Father Lionel Strong, the hand of the king in the middle, and then you got Larry Strong, who is a conniving, evil person because they're a family here, and we'll get to what he does a little bit later. But yeah, I like the opening scene. Go back to the opening scene where we get the hint that Rhaenyra is fathering bastards. Like there's a like gooey-eyed looks between Harwin Strong and Rhaenyra this whole time. Obviously, none of the kids are biracial or have white hair, so it's like, what the hell's going on here? So I mean, it should be. It's like an unsaid thing. Like everyone kind of knows that Rhaenyra is probably fathering bastards. Because, like I said, none of the kids look like Laenor, and yeah, I think everyone kind of knows that. Even Viserys in this episode, who poor Viserys, man, he looks like the Crypt Keeper. He keeps looking closer and closer to the Crypt Keeper every episode. But yeah, and he's even lost an arm. They had to amputate his arm. He's got scars all over his head. He is. I'm surprised he made it this long. But I like Viserys. All the guy wants to do is have peace and play with his and just carve his Valerian Lego set. That's it. I can relate to that. He just wants to relax and play with his toys or whatever and keep the peace. But yeah, this scene right here was really good because just by little hints and looks, subtle looks and interactions, you know what's going on. Harwin is the father of these kids, and yeah, I don't think Viserys or anyone really wants to admit that yet. Besides Alicent, who puts things into play really soon in this episode, but uh, yeah, like Viserys just he wants this family to be strong because a strong Targaryen family is unstoppable. They're unstoppable force. But Alicent, she's so radicalized in her views of taking succession because of her father Otto Hightower. She put the fear in her, and since then, that's been her goal, like to prepare herself and her kids to take over and be the successor for the throne. Which I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but like Alicent knows that it's so obvious at this point that her children or Rhaenyra's children are bastards, and they are fathered by Harwin Strong, who is like the commander of the City Watch at this point. But it's so obvious that Rhaenyra is fathering bastards. So Rhaenyra, she's been a spoiled brat this whole time, as Sir Kristen Cole here says. Who Kristen Cole hasn't aged a damn minute. Look at him; he looks exactly the same. Makes no sense. But Kristen Cole's just a bitter asshole now. He's kind of a bitch. He's kind of a bitch. He's still bitter, and calls Rhaenyra a spoiled. See you next Tuesday. Calls her that. But yeah, like Alicent knows that the realm is already on their heels with having Rhaenyra as the heir to the throne, like a non-traditional, queen. She already knows that there's a lot of lords and houses out there that aren't too fond of breaking the tradition of succession. So with Alicent, who's probably going to spread news, and all the news in the realm, at least in King's Landing right now, knows or is aware that Rhaenyra is probably fathering bastards. So you have Rhaenyra, who is a successor to the throne, who's been whoring around, sleeping with Kristen Cole, sleeping with Harwin Strong, fathering bastards, and that's not a good look. It's not a good look when people are already on their heels about you being the successor to the throne. So that's going to lead up to the Civil War because Rhaenyra and Laenor. I'm going to skip a lot of things here, but they end up leaving eventually, and they go. You find the scene here. Oh, I don't want to play too much. I do not want to get copyrighted by not want to get copyrighted by HBO Max. But there's a good scene where Rhaenyra and Laenor they pack their shit up. They pack their shit up because everyone knows Harwin Strong um is the father and everything. Alicent, she like Rhaenyra even extended the olive branch to Rhaenyra, like, hey, let's wed our kids. And Alicent just kind of throws it away. She kind of just throws it away, like barely even listens to her. Which poor Viserys, man, it's like he doesn't do anything. He's even weaker than before. Even though I like Viserys, King Viserys a lot, he's even weaker than before. He just lets Rhaenyra talk for her all the time, or not Rhaenyra, Alicent. Alicent is kind of in charge of things. Always like bitching about stuff. So yeah. So yeah, Rhaenyra knows things are about to pop off. Like Alicent is just there's no bridge that could be mended. Like the bridge between them cannot be mended. It is broken. It is fractured. She packs up shop with Laenor. Lets Laenor bring his lover with her. So she's like, "Bring your boyfriend too. We just got to get the hell out of Dodge because shit's about to pop off." Alicent, there's no way to mend things together with Alicent. So they leave. They go to Dragonstone with all their kids, and I'm gonna skim back here to where's that scene? There's a good scene with Viserys and his Hand of the King, Laenor or Larry Strong, who's been a solid Hand of the King so far. Like, look at poor Viserys here. God, he looks like shit. But there's a good scene with the kids too. Man, I'm skipping all over the place. I was not prepared today. I was not prepared. So we'll go here, which was the catalyst of a lot of shit going down, which was the training scene with Kristen Cole, with Aegon, with Rhaenyra's kids, and um, Queen Alicent's kids, who they've all got along at this point. Like Aemon, the second born child or the third born child of Alicent. There's a good scene with them training with dragons. It kind of felt like Jurassic Park. They're feeding like a lamb or a sheep to a dragon. Aemon can't get it. He doesn't have a bond with the dragon yet, so Aegon and his cousins, Rhaenyra's kids, they kind of bully him. So, it's a typical, like, they have a good relationship, like these kids. They're growing up, they have a great relationship with each other, but Kristen Cole and Alicent, they kind of put things into play to put a rift between these kids. And Kristen Cole harshly trains um, Rhaenyra's kids. And then, of course, Harwin Strong, he's in this scene. He's watching Kristen Cole kind of just be a shitty trainer to these kids. So And of course, things go south. Kristen Cole says some things, which causes Harwin Strong to go crazy and just beat the shit out of Cole, which a lot of people witness. I forgot what he says, but it's kind of implied that he like makes a comment about Rhaenyra's kids being his, like some subtle comment hinting that, and Harwin Strong loses his shit and beats the shit out of Kristen Cole. So what a what a turnaround compared to episode 5 where Kristen Cole was beating the crap out of Laenor's lover's face, and now Harwin Strong was beating the shit out of Kristen Cole's face in this episode. So I like that a lot. But because of this blowout over here by Harwin Strong, Larry Strong is like, he's such a good dude. He's like, look, I put shame in here. My son's put so much shame. I gotta resign because this is not a good look. And of course, Viserys is like, you can't do it. You're my best. You're the hand of the king, and you're doing a damn good job. I need you. You know, at this point, that he's been the hand of the king for like 10 years. Been at the hand of the king for like 10 years. So, yeah, that was a good scene. And he's like, I'm not gonna let you quit. So Larry's takes Harwin back to Harrenhal. He's like, all right, let me at least escort my son back, and that's what happens. But yeah, one problem I had with the whole scenes that happened with Larry Strong, which I do like how he's like an evil character. We finally got some villains to observe and watch. Alice, he has a good scene with Allison, and Larry Strong's like, I'll take care of it. But this is his family, and I wish we would have had more scenes with this trio here, because nothing hinted that Larry Strong was capable of murdering his father and his brother, who he seemed really cool with. Like, they seemed like a pretty tight unit. So, on a drop of a dime, to have Larry Strong turn on his brother and his father and kill them, I wish we would have had like a scene showing the dynamic between them, because every scene between them, they seem pretty cool together. Like at the wedding, Larry's and Harwin, they're just hanging out together. Like they seem like a pretty close unit. So that's a flaw I had with that. It's like I wish we would have had like hints that Larry Strong was capable or had some animosity towards his brother and father, because there was no scenes hinting that. So hopefully we get a scene explaining why Larry's Strong was capable of that and did it. He ended up hiring assassins and cutting off their tongues so they couldn't say anything. He hired them to follow Lionel Strong and Harren Strong back to Harrenhal. They set up a fire and killed both of them, I believe. So yeah, it's kind of crazy that he was able to do that. So I wish we would have had a couple scenes showing that Larry Strong had some animosity or hatred towards his family. Or maybe he's just that evil. He's just like, what, you need help, Queen? All right, I got no problem killing my family. But I wish we would have had a scene with Larry Strong and Harwin, or maybe his father, showing that they despise him or he despises them. Because there was no hint at all that he was capable of killing his own family. I wish we would have had more scenes with the Strongs, because it's only Larry Strong. He's the only one left standing. Killed his brother and his father. So no one knows about that yet. That happens towards the end of the episode. Let's look at the chat here. Damon had a good Aaron Lord, Aaron. The more I watch a show, the more I dislike it, but I will continue to watch because it's something to pass the time on Sunday nights. I just, storyline is stupid. I actually really like the storyline. I really like the storyline. It's just that it's gonna take time to get used to all the time jumps. And yeah, I don't blame you for kind of uh, disliking the tempo that it's changed, especially after all the momentum that what episode 5 had. And then it's kind of like they cleared the chessboard. Well, they didn't clear the chessboard; they just cleared the players. It's like we had all this momentum at the end of episode 5, and then boom, it's like we have a whole new gang to watch. It feels like a whole new show. But the things that happened in this episode were really big. Irish Blessing, I'd rather watch the Buccaneers offense. Thank you, Irish Blessing, for going off topic there. Thank you. I'm trying to remember my train of thought now, where I was. 10 years ago, 10 years go by for people to figure out that brown-haired curly kid doesn't look like his black father. Yeah, I talked about that earlier, but I think it's because Viserys. I think Viserys. They all deep down know that something's up with Rhaenyra's kids. Like something's up with her kids. Like they don't look like traditional Targaryens, especially when they both have white hair. But like I said earlier, it's all about family and keeping the realm strong. So, and the bet like a strong Targaryen family is an unstoppable force. Like it's an unstoppable force. But yeah, let me go see if I get like yeah, these kids here. Yeah, they look nothing like Laenor Targaryen or Laenor Valerian. Look nothing like them. They look like Strongs without a doubt. But I think that at this point, we're at the point in this time where it's like people are kind of over covering for the lies, especially Alicent. That's why she's so frustrated with everything. And she's like, "Look, this is bullshit. She's obviously fathering bastards. Like, what's going on here?" That's why Alicent's so mad in this episode about everything. But yeah, so I think I'm wrapping up storyline with Rhaenyra and her family leaving King's Landing to go to Dragonstone because they know shit's about to pop off. Alicent, she knows she's gonna do all in her power to out this revelation that Rhaenyra's been fathering bastards, and I can't wait to see what their reaction is, what her reaction is when she finds out Harwin Strong and got burned alive at Harrenhal. So I can't wait to see their reactions to everything. But I mean, I could see why people are disliking the change because after episode 5, it was such a great episode, and it's like they just cleared, like they just it's like a heading into like season 3 or something. Not even like season 2. It's like we skipped so much. So I wish there was a way to kind of change the story up without having a big time jump, but and also switching the actresses out and actors from their younger portrayals. But like I said earlier, a lot of the main players in the Civil War are the kids. So the writers, they just want to get the kids grown up. So when the Civil War does break out, they're going to be the main players. Like it's not just Rhaenyra and Alicent. So Aemon Targaryen is going to be a main player. Like that whole storyline with him not being able to have a bond with the dragon. That's a big thing in the story and scheme of things. But we'll jump back to Daemon. Poor Daemon, man. Let me try to find the scene with Daemon. Let me try to find good old Daemon. There he is. Laena is of course pregnant with like their third child. Daemon has 2 daughters, and this scene with Laena mirrors the like Emily Targaryen, Viserys' wife, with the birth complications, and he's forced to make the same decision: do I kill my wife to get the baby out and take that chance? So we really don't know what his choice was. We didn't really know if he did this, if he picked the same choice as Viserys, like, all right, just get the baby out. I know my wife's gonna die. We don't know which choice he picks, but Laenor doesn't even let him because she ends up. Laena hears this and she ends up going out to her dragon and killing herself, burning herself alive because she's gonna make the decision for herself. She'd rather go out in honor and getting killed by her own dragon than having Daemon make the choice. So that was a really good scene. That was a really good scene. That was probably my favorite scene of the show, and I liked Laena a lot. It's kind of sad to see what happened to Daemon because he's finally a good dude. Kind of has his shit together. Maybe a little lost in ambition, but he's a family man. I mean, though he's not really that close to his daughters, or at least one of his daughters, but yeah, his relationship with Laena, everything, it all seemed good. Like she was on the same side as him no matter what. And it's kind of sad to see her go because I liked Lena a lot. She was a real one. Lena was a real one, and she was probably the hottest of the females in this show. I will say that, especially Lena in episode 5. I really like that version of Lena. That was a really That's probably my favorite girl in the show so far. And Rhea Royce, the Bronze bitch, who I tell you what, like every new characters we're getting introduced to are just dying. Every time we get a new character introduced, they're killing them off like crazy. Like I don't even think the original Game of Thrones had characters die this soon so fast. Like Harwin Strong, like I wish we got to know him a little bit more because I do like I liked him, and I remember reading up about him, and he was a cool character. Harwin's Break Bones, like his nickname was Break Bones or something like that because he punched so hard. So it would have been cool to see him. Like I don't know why we had this time jump. I think maybe the writers and the showrunners didn't have that much faith that House of the Dragon was going to be such a hit that they were like, we're just going to speed up the story. That way, if it's not what audience expected and they're not really liking it, at least we could wrap up the story a lot sooner than but it's a hit. Like people love House of the Dragon. Like Game of Thrones is back. So maybe the writers and showrunners just didn't have that much faith or were a little apprehensive that the show was going to be such a hit that they were just going to speed things up. So I don't know. That'd be my guess because I do know a lot of people that are not a fan of the time jump and the actor and actress changes. So kind of unfortunate, but like Aaron said in the chat, it's something to watch, but I don't dislike it as much as you. I actually really like it a lot, and I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna 100% sticking with it, and I appreciate the story because I know it gets when the Civil War, when the Civil War starts and it's gonna be Team Black, which is Rhaenyra, versus Team Green, which is Alicent. When that does go down, it's gonna be crazy. Like it tears the realm apart. It tears the realm apart. But you just got to get used to the new actresses and actors, and but yeah, they are speeding things up, maybe a little too fast. Like we probably could have went 10 episodes with younger Rhaenyra and younger Alicent to get where things are now. There's some things that happen in between, and I wish the writers could have found ways around it without skipping a lot of stuff. But I'm trying to see what I skipped in the spoilers. So we covered Rhaenyra and Alicent. We covered Damon and everything. So, yeah, I can't wait. Oh, this was a good scene too, when with Harwin and his sons, and one of his sons when they're like, when they even Rhaenyra's sons realize like that's our dad. Shit, I did not know. Like, how did you not know? Laenor's out, just getting drunk, banging dudes. He's never around. Meanwhile, Harwin Strong is always there for you guys. How do you guys not know? So yeah, Aaron in the chat, you made a good point. How does no one pointing this out till now? In retrospect, you're right. Like these kids are old enough to know, like, hey, something's up. Laenor, he ain't around much, so. But they just have the revelation that Harwin's their father at the end of the episode, which that was a good scene. But yeah, a lot of Harwin Strong, Lionel Strong, they're dead. The Hand of the King is dead. How's Viserys gonna take that? I mean, all this is just giving more power to Alicent. These are all these things happening, like the ramifications and repercussions of Rhaenyra living a spoiled life, like when she should have had a tighter grip on things and not whoring around, fathering bastards. All this is leading to Alicent just getting the upper hand. Because the realm's going to find out Rhaenyra's fathering bastards. They're already not a fan of having her be the heir to the throne because it's out of tradition. And everything's favoring Alicent to this point, especially with Lionel Strong, the Hand of the King dying. That's going to hurt. Viserys, the more and more he's just deteriorating. He's losing limbs. Pretty soon, he's going to have no arms and no legs. He's just going to be a stump with a head. Pretty soon. Pretty soon he's going to have no limbs, just a stump in a head, and he's not going to be able to play with his Legos, his little carvings. So, yeah, pretty soon Viserys is gonna be gone, and everything is just favoring Alicent. So, I think we're gonna check out the preview for the next episode as well. So I think we're gonna jump into that next because I think I covered everything in this episode, and I gave my thoughts. Overall, if I had to put a rating, there was parts I really liked, but yeah, the writing could have been a little bit more crisp. I also like how it didn't hold my hand into telling me everything that happened. We kind of find out through conversation and character interaction what's been going on in the past. The guy has 3 strands of hair left. Yeah, Viserys, man. Viserys, he's on Struggle Bus City, dude. He's on Struggle Bus City. He's heading there, going straight down. It's honestly surprising how many episodes he's made it through. But maybe next episode's the episode he finally bites the dust. But that's what we're gonna jump into now. Let's check out the trailer for episode 2. See what we could point out. Or episode what are we at? 7? 4 more episodes left.
What is this brief mortal life?
Okay, that's got to be
It's another
Harwin
pursuit of
Strong.
legacy.
Okay, so that's got to be Harwin Strong's body that they're putting in. Which they're on Dragonstone, so maybe Harrenhal isn't that far away. But they got to be
It's
burying
another pursuit of legacy.
Harwin Strong, right? Or maybe not. Because that's a... It looks like it's a funeral for... Okay, so we got Alicent there. King Viserys is there. All the Targaryens are still there, so... okay, we got a sigil in the back, which is the Valyrian Seahorse sigil. Everyone's here. So maybe there was another Valyrian who died. Maybe Corlys died. This looks like it's a funeral for a Valyrian. Yeah, it looks like it's a...
Mortal life.
Oh, okay, it's Daemon's girl, because she's a Valyrian. Alright, that's who it is. Because Laenor looks really sad right here. This is a funeral scene for Laena Valyrian. That's what it's got to be. But Daemon's got to be there
It's
somewhere.
another pursuit of legacy.
But that's definitely Laena. R.I.P.
We play an ugly game.
If you are to be a
Dude,
strong queen, your
Lena's
subjects
dragon is a
must fear
beast.
you.
Fire is such strange
I
power.
do like how we're getting so much dragon
Everything
action
that
too.
House Targaryen
Pause right here. Okay, so Daemon's back with them.
possesses is owed to it.
Wait, actually, am I watching this with you guys? Okay, good. Watching this. Making sure.
There is a debt to be paid.
This is the highest of treasons.
Oh, we got Hightower back. Good old Otto. Oh shit.
I promise you in time.
Isn't that
you and I
Dragonstone
together
or
will
High
prevail.
Tide?
Now they see you as you are.
Alright, so Alicent attempts to end Rhaenyra's life, obviously. So this has got to be when things really, really pop off. And excuse me. But hopefully we get no more big time jumps. Especially from this devious son of a bitch. Freaking Larry Strong, but I did see a preview where we had like a grown-up version of Aemon Targaryen, and he looks like he's like 20 years old. So I'm expecting another big time jump somewhere in the next few episodes. But it looks like this episode has a lot to do with Laena's death. So I wonder what happens when they find out about Lionel and Harwin Strong. But yeah, this episode, hope we get a lot. I hope we get some action. I hope we get a lot of action in this episode. Got good old Hightower back, more dragon action. So that's got to be. I forgot Laena's dragon's name, but it's the biggest dragon in the realm and the oldest. Ooh, what is going on right there with Hightower? Who's he grabbing? Oh, he's grabbing. Okay, so that's got to be Aegon Targaryen. So Otto Hightower is probably gonna give him some motivation to be more of a threat. So. Yeah, I mean, things are already bad between the two families. After this attempt that Alicent makes on Rhaenyra's life, that's got to be the end of that. That's got to be the end of everything else, right? So, let's go to the chat here. I think that's everything, because previewed the episode. We talked about everything else. If you're in the chat, let me know what you rate the episode before I wrap this spoiler discussion up. Because, like I said, I give it three stars, just because it is going to take some time to get used to the characters. And I wish, and with such a huge 10-year time jump, there was a lot of things that I kind of missed. That I wish the storyline was a little bit crisper. And I wish more characters. I wish we got to learn more about a few more characters, like the Strongs, especially Harwin Strong. Who else died? Harwin Strong. So we lost Harwin. We lost Lena. Lost Lionel, the Hand of the King. So yeah, a lot of people died in this episode. A lot of people died. So we'll see the repercussions and ramifications of their deaths, how that plays out, and everyone else. 'Cause it looks like a lot of shit's about to go down in episode 7. But I like it still. Despite the big changes, I still really am heavily invested in the characters and the show. It's just got to take, it's going to take some time to get used to these new actresses and actors playing them. But honestly, the new actors and actresses, they're acting good. Like, the acting isn't bad. Say what you will about not being a fan of, the changes and the time jumps. The actors are doing a good job in the portrayal of these characters. Like, even though they're different actresses, like, they still feel like their previous selves. Because the writing is still pretty good. Even though I wish we would have spent more time with some storylines and some people, I feel like the writing is still pretty crisp. So I give it 3 O's out of 5. Give it 3 O's out of 5. It was still a good episode to me. Because a lot of things happened. But all right, everyone, that is my thoughts and spoiler discussion of episode 6 of House of the Dragon. For all you who participated and watched this video, participated in the chat, thank you very much. The Ravens were out, the Bannermen showed up, so I appreciate all you all out there. Be sure to click the like button on your way out as well. And subscribe to my channel. All that stuff really helps the algorithm. And it's all about the algorithm. You got to get the algorithm gods on your side. That's just the way it is. So, all right, everyone. House Oenitis is signing off. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you all next time. See ya.